Okay, here we are at Watkins Glen. This is just a lap I did last year. It's not a particularly good lap. It's one of the faster ones that I did, but you're going to see I miss apexes all over the place and stuff like that. Plus, I'm on a taller tire. But the first thing I want to talk about is this yellow line. You can't really see it here, but there's a painted yellow line, which is like the pit lane commitment line. Like you have to be inside that line when you're pitting, both in professional series and in our event. That line doesn't have as much grip as the tarmac. In the dry, when you run it over, you'll hear your tires squeal as they pass over it. It probably has a little bit less grip than the tarmac, but it's not dramatic. In the wet, that paint is super slippery, especially now because they just repainted it with fresh paint for the NASCAR race, which was like 3 weeks ago now. So when you run over that paint, if you apex this corner normally, your whole car just kind of shifts to the left. I don't know if you've ever driven on a bridge that's turning and they have like these metal joints that join the sections of bridge, and you run it over and your whole car kind of lurches. That's what the car does. I talked to a pro driver that was like, coaching at Chin about it. And he said a lot of the pros in the wet just treat the yellow line like it's the apex. That's the safer way to do it. Some just run it over and deal with the fact that the car shifts a little bit. And then I talked to another guy who suggested a hybrid approach, which is you can straddle the line, and so it's your loaded tires that really freak out when they jump over this painted line. Your right side tires don't do much, so you can always just make sure that your left side tires don't cross it, and you'll probably be fine, and you'll be able to straight line the corner a little bit. All right, let's start the lap. Fourth gear corner, you can hear the squeal there. You can ride up all the way up onto this curb, it's fine. The next thing you got to worry about is the braking zone, right? Like you're getting up to speed, and right here you have the 300 marker and the 200 marker. In between those two markers, the Armco goes from 3 levels to 2 levels. That's a really good brake reference point. I'm not saying that's where you should brake. I'm just saying that provides a nice static marker to judge your braking against. Let's see where I brake. I think I brake pretty much right where that happens. So turn in. This apex curbing has 2 levels. One is flat and might as well just be racetrack. You run over it and it goes drrr, and then you have a higher part. Depending on your suspension and stuff, maybe the higher part works. It will tilt the car a little bit. I just try to get maybe to the edge of the higher part but stay on the flat part. Like I do right there, you can hear it. Alright, exit curbing. Exit curbing is like a pyramid with the top cut off. So there's a part that's sloped up, that's fine to use, it kind of catches you, it helps you, it's good. Then the top doesn't really help you, but it doesn't hurt you much. It probably has less grip than the pavement, but it's fine. And then it drops off on the other side. That obviously doesn't help you because now it's pitching you towards that off-track area. I could see the car scraping if it's really low, if it's centered perfectly and each tire's on the downslope part and you're centered under the raised part. I don't think it happened to me. This area off to the left has very, very deep like scallops or like reverse speed bumps carved into it because in 2025 NASCAR did it to try to discourage drivers from doing that. It did not discourage them. It just made it uncomfortable. Obviously this year they did tire bundles which aren't there for anybody else but NASCAR. So here, if you get up onto the curb, it's probably best to stay perfectly straight. I know if you're in a car that you can't take turn 2 flat, it helps to stay to the left here, and you actually want to stay all the way outside, all the way till this wall kind of forces you to go back on track. For us, you're going to see in this video, I upshift when I'm already going uphill because I'm on 225s. On 245/40s, we're almost all going to be short shifting the 5th on entry. So it actually may behoove us to try to take a slightly longer distance before entering, and then of course you want to upshift as late as possible. But it is scary as fuck to be turning at over 100 miles an hour going into one of the scariest parts of the track and then shifting at that kind of like bottom compression. Like you would shift right there if you wanted to be perfect. But I end up short shifting on entry because it's fucking terrifying. So anyway, going up this hill, now the revs aren't really going up. As you can see, my speed goes down. There's that little pull-off area to the right. You stay to the right until you get into that. Turn left. Since we're all going to be easy flat through here, it's going to be all about cutting distance, right? Like just trying to straight line diagonally from that apex to the next apex. This area is a little bit downhill. Now we're just thinking about braking for the bus stop. You can run out of gear here and bump against the top of 5th. Probably roughly equivalent to the back straight at VIR. If you're bumping to the top of 5th, you're probably doing something right, but it's not so bad that it's worth shit. So the braking zone is probably somewhere around the 300. I'm always a pussy and I brake super early. Obviously the idea is to brake, lift off the brakes a little bit as you take that first apex, brake a little bit more as you land, lift off a little bit as you ride that second curb, and then kind of barely use the brakes to rotate the car, and then it's hard on the gas to go out. This is a 4th gear corner. So this apex curbing here, this video is from 2025, it has the super aggressive metal curbs that they installed to try to discourage the NASCAR guys from taking it. They have since removed that, and it's super chill curbs, so you can basically take it now. You can get as close to that Armco as you want. It might upset the car a little bit, but it's fine. Obviously, I'm not going to take all of it. They have a cone there. Most HPDs put a cone there. So the idea is you're braking. This curb you can take, but you probably don't want to take much because you want to stay wide. You're already turning to the left here. 4th gear corner. Both of these curbs are takeable. This first one upsets the car a little bit more. Just watch here. The second one's not too bad. Alright. Oops, I went a little bit too far. So here's something that's not in iRacing. It's this triangle that's painted on the ground. That's for NASCAR. It's called the choose cone, even though it's not really a cone. It just gives you a good visual reference for how far you're tracking out before turning in. I think most of us will just be lifting here. Lau Zyra does brake here in his video. I'm not quite sure what the right answer is. I'm thinking just carry a lot of speed and lift. And then as you lift, you're basically steering the car with your feet, right? Like you're completely loaded up, turning right, all the pressure's on the left tires, and you're just kind of using the throttle to try to make the car go a little bit closer. I fuck up this corner. I do not get to the apex. This corner is obviously crazy G-loads. It's a nice long corner, so pretty much everybody can get to the limit of the lateral Gs, but it's tricky because it's actually bumpy. There's like some sort of ripples or something on the track on the inside lane, on the inside of the seam, and there's one particularly big one. So you're fighting the car, you're squealing the tires, you're going over a couple bumps, you think you have it, and then you hit this bigger bump. It's not a big bump, but it's a bigger bump, and it always freaks me out every time, and I end up lifting because it's terrifying. If you're ready for it, maybe it's a little bit better. I think you might see me hit it here. Yeah, I kind of have to open a little bit there. Anyway, this curbing on the left here, I wouldn't use it. I think it's way more distance than it's worth. Even in iRacing in the GR Cup car, I found that it's closer to just stay inside the curb. Like, you don't even need to get on the curb. This is only for, like, if you fuck up and carry too much speed, you don't have to lift. I don't think it's really faster. Maybe you think differently. I'd love to hear your comments. So as you're coming down here, this ends up being one of those weird, oh, do I upshift to 5th or stay in 4th kind of moments. It's going to depend on a lot of different things. On 225s, I didn't have to shift. On 225s, I think if I'd done the bus stop and the carousel perfectly, that it would be worth it to shift. As far as brake ribbons markers, that grate, there's like a drainage grate that's right to the right. That's the marker. I'm not saying brake there. I'm saying that's just a very fixed visual reference that you can use. you're obviously driving straight at the fucking flag stand at over 100 miles an hour and trying to brake as late as possible. Fun. So I probably turned on a little bit too early here. Again, you're loading up the tires, one of the few high-speed left-hand turns. There's a little wide spot at the curbing. You can't really see it there because my cell phone holder is covering it. But this is one of those terrifying corners where you're pointed straight at the wall and it's time to get up to full throttle. Fun. Exit curbing there, you can totally use, it's fine. No drama. Now you're coming into this very fast uphill right-hander, definitely worth the downshift. And here, if you do it right, you're going to be in like a four-wheel slide. The rear does try to break loose as you're powering up and climbing the hill. You just got to be ready for it. Open the wheel a little bit. I think I fuck up here. Let's watch. Yeah. See, that first correction I was ready for, but I was still too aggressive and had too much steering in it, and that second correction is what fucked me. I must have seen something on the delta. So anyway, you're coming up here. There's a little wider. Like I don't know if you can see, the pavement gets a little bit wider past the white line. That's where you want to track out. Definitely use it if you can. Now you're going up a hill. Upshift a little bit later because you're going uphill. And now you're getting to another one of those sections where it's like, do I have to upshift? Is it worth upshifting? Again, if you nailed that corner is not actually too bad to get right, or at least get consistently. Like once you know how to do it, you're probably not going to gain or lose a lot of time, so it probably won't change your shift point once you've like figured it out. But once you've figured it out, you need to decide, am I shifting or not? I think I'm braking at about the 170 here. Downshifting, turning in, yada yada yada. This curbing is fine to put your left side tires on. This is in iRacing, but that little concrete strip to the left of the curbing has a little metal grate in it, and it's kind of like a channel, it's lowered so that the water flows into that drainage grate. Yeah, I don't think it helps at all. I think it adds distance, and I think you lose grip. So definitely put your left side tires on the curb if you need it. I would not go any further than that if you can help it. Now you're coming up this hill, little upshift, and this is by far the trickiest corner on the whole track. You're cresting a hill, it's blind. What else can I say except for what I'm about to say next? Same deal where you're pointed straight at the wall and it's time to just gas it up. I'm pointed straight at the wall. Why don't I go full throttle? So you're going over a crest here. It's super tricky. The rear is loose. It's generally manageable. But after the crest, there's another little bump or another weird little place where the rear end wants to step out. So it's like you think you're done. You think you've passed the hard part. And then there's another little part that tries to jerk your wheel. I don't think you see it in this because I'm nowhere near the limit. Anyway, hopefully you're not too terrified there. Second to last corner. In Sport 4, I think it's just a lift. I think the Max 5 guys might be able to take this corner flat because of the aero. You're going to have a ton of grip. I don't have to lift that much. And I think you guys, between the drag and the aero, I would definitely at least attempt to take this corner flat at some point during the weekend. It's pretty safe because there's a ton of runoff to the right. So, if you ever shoot the corner, you just wash out on exit. Maybe your lap gets invalidated or whatever. So just, pick a lap that that doesn't count early in the weekend to decide if you can do it. All right. Now you're getting into this curb. It's like another little, there's a slanted part and then there's a flat part on top. Slanted part is usable. This curb really does try to throw you off. I think there might be like an overall crest of the hill where that curb is. I don't think it helps to go into that runoff area. It's more like, it's there if you need it, but I don't think it's required to do a super fast lap. Now you're getting the car over, and it's surprisingly quick, the little brush and turn and gas that you have to do for the final turn. I think I have enough time, and then it feels like I'm running out of time. Just a little brush of the brakes, stay in fourth gear for me. Get it all the way down. You can ride that curb if you want. Obviously, I'm practicing my straddling technique for when it's wet. That's why I did that. You can ride that curb. It doesn't do much to your car. and then you just, again, point it straight at the wall. Let me mash the gas completely. You can use that curve fine, because hopefully you're not loaded up by the time you get there. You're just kind of using it, and start finish line. And that's a lap of Watkins Glen.